Nowadays, many people talk about a right-wing shift in the US, Europe, and even Russia. Donald Trump's election victories, the rollback of policies recognizing genders beyond male and female, the closure of corporate diversity and inclusion programs, and the popularization of content about traditional values, all this creates the impression that the world has suddenly turned right. Reels and TikToks showing women in dresses, patriotic clips, advertising with attractive women. It all seems like society is returning to good old values. But what if it's just an illusion? What if behind these flashy images and viral videos lies a completely different reality, and we are being misled? Automobile America and the influence of business. The car is a symbol of the US. Anyone wanting to live in America quickly realizes that without a car, you can go almost nowhere. But this example also shows how business and market forces shape our perception of the right-wing shift. Companies like Hollywood Rides sell cars based on government subsidies, credit histories, and insurance policies. But none of this is politics. It's economics, where profit matters more than ideology. Everything we see in advertising, beautiful women, traditional values, or return to a previous way of life, is often driven by money, not politics. Corporations tested left-wing agendas, body positivity, recognition of hundreds of genders, inclusion of minorities in ads. The result? Poor sales. Examples include Victoria's Secret, American Eagle, and the beer brand Bud Light. Financial realities showed that society was not ready for forced ideological shifts in business. The history of right and left. The terms right and left originated during the French Revolution, where Republicans sat on the left and monarchists on the right. Over time, their meaning changed depending on the country and historical context. American conservatives today are in many ways equivalent to the liberals of the 1990s in Russian terms. History shows cycles. When one side dominates, an opposing force eventually emerges. This is not a pure right or left shift, but a societal correction. The 1960s. Wave of progress. The 1960s were a period of radical ideas. Baby boomers protested the Vietnam War, fought for civil rights. Women demanded equal pay and career opportunities, and hippies rejected consumerism, but society found a balance. Civil rights were secured, feminism became normalized, sexual freedom became part of culture, while radical slogans and utopian hippie projects remained marginal. The 1980s. Conservative backlash. Parents of baby boomers, tired of the 1960s revolutions, wanted stability. Satanic panic arose a fear that rock music, video games, and comics would corrupt youth. Ronald Reagan came to power, supported by the moral majority seeking to return the country to family and faith. Yet even this was not a full right-wing shift. Women didn't return to the kitchen. Rock music didn't vanish. Church attendance continued to decline. Modern times. Social media and the illusion of a right-wing shift. From the early 2000s to the late 2010s, progressive culture dominated. Minority rights, recognition of multiple genders, and inclusion were popular. People grew tired of political correctness. What words to use? How to call people? How to discuss white privilege? Social media created a bubble. Content promoting traditional values went viral, giving the impression of a societal shift. Most Instagram and TikTok users are aged 18 to 34. They consume and create content, but rarely participate in politics. Who actually votes? In the US, it's people over 45, baby boomers, and older millennials. They brought Trump and conservatives to power, while the younger generation only sees viral reels. Real changes in the US. There are institutional changes confirming a right-leaning shift. Abortion rights rollback. States now decide independently. Over 20 states have restricted or banned abortion. End of affirmative action in universities. Reduction in enrollment of Black and Latino students. Book bans. Over 10,000 cases in 2023 to 2024, driven by conservative groups like Moms for Liberty. But this isn't a full course reversal. Federal laws and culture remain progressive in other areas. Same-sex marriage and LGBTQ rights are protected. Financial logic, market versus ideology. Major corporations have gradually rolled back diversity programs. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Ford, Boeing, all these decisions are based not on ideology but on financial rationality. Society is simply not ready to accept radical changes, and mass the market proved this. The algorithm bubble and the danger of radicalization. Social media amplifies the illusion of a right-wing shift. Algorithms show us content we like, creating the impression of mass trends. For example, misinformation spreads that Democrats celebrate tragedies, which fuels radicalization and justifies violence. 1 in 5 Americans believes political violence is sometimes justified. More than 60% think retaliatory violence is acceptable if initiated by opponents. History shows this can lead to tragic outcomes, as with the January 6th Capitol attack in 2021. Conclusion: the pendulum of history, yes. There is a right-wing shift, but it's a course correction, not a full reversal. Society reacts when one side dominates after a progressive wave. America will never return to the 1950s or 1980s. Europe and Russia also move forward. Social media and viral videos create only the illusion of a global shift. The main lesson: critical thinking, diverse sources of information, and understanding that societal change is slower than what we see in our social media feeds.